Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Smashi Business Show. It's Monday.
Yeah, it's Monday again.
Yeah, it's Monday again.
It's a boring, sad Monday. No, I'm just kidding. It's a fresh new day, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's 11th of November 2024. Welcome to the show. If you're watching, hello. If you're listening, again, hello. Sabah al khair, right? Sabah al khair, Sabah al word, Sabah al noor. I've remembered all of them. So yeah, hello everyone. Smashi Business Show is here to tell you all about whatever is happening in the world. At least the MENA world.
Yeah.
For us, MENA is the world, right?
And just to begin, we're going to speak about one of the most famous news outlets in the MENA region, the MBC. So the MBC group, their revenue has surged by 3 billion in the first 9 months of 2024,
3 billion Saudi riyals.
Marking a 378% surge in their net income. Now, why is this extremely relevant? Now, recently, the Sovereign Wealth Fund in Saudi Arabia has actually bought out more than 50% of the MBC. So we can finally see that the investment that they've made, it's been quite successful for them because they invested into a profit-making business.
Yeah. And it's a local investment. It's not an outside investment, as told by the governor of PIF at FII, that they're now looking towards the local and they're looking inwards. They're not looking outwards for their investments. So see, PIF investing in MBC Group and then MBC Group posting these numbers, if you just look at them, they're big. So first 9 months of 2024, the revenues reached approximately Saudi Riyal 3 billion. Performance resulted in a remarkable 378% increase. It's not like 20-30%. It's a 378% increase in net income, which surged to Saudi Arabian riyals of 250 million. So these numbers coming on the back of this investment shows that the idea to invest inside towards local startups or local businesses, well-established brands, it's not a bad idea for Saudi Arabia. It's a great idea.
Yeah, it's a great idea. And more than that, Majid, the reason why I think this is so special is because of the fact that when I was younger and I would say that, my dream is to have a job in media, a lot of people, especially my teachers, would tell me that you would be completely broke. You're not going to have money. No, they would tell me that, if you're going after media, you're going after journalism. So seeing that, big media houses like the MBC are, they're profit making, it really does give me hope for the future that more people can strive for these careers and do really well in them, not just in their personal lives, but also, just economically, they can make a lot of money from it.
Media, to be honest, 10 years ago, it was a different landscape. Now, it's a very different landscape. 10, even I'll say, let's say 15 years on a safe side, it was all legacy media. It was the big names who were making waves. It was the big names which gave you news, entertainment, edutainment, whatever you wanted. The big legacy media, TVs, radios, newspapers, to be honest, the paper, newspaper. All of these people were big and they wanted, and they covered the whole world. They covered everything from news to entertainment. But now you see that in the last decade, everything has changed. The term new media, it was coined a while back, but when Facebook and all these social platforms started emerging. But now they are the actual power. It's not like the legacy media holds power. The new media holds power. Again, you remember we talked about the US presidential election as it was happening, and you told me that Kamala Harris is a very active TikToker. Obviously, she lost. But yeah, Trump was using new media, social media completely. He owns a social media platform, Truth Socials. Elon Musk was using X as much as he could.
He still is.
Promote, he I don't know how this guy is doing so much and then tweeting after every hour or retweeting stuff. But yeah, he promoted everything. I remember Joe Rogan hosted Trump and a lot of senators from his side. So everything, these podcasts, these people who are not part of the big BBC or CNNs or Washington Post, those guys also made a very big difference for the election. So US election being changed, or the dynamics of the US election being affected by this new media, shows that it's moved on. And MBC also now, they have the biggest Arab streaming platform, Shahid. That is doing great. Every quarter, every half year, every year, we see big numbers coming from Shahid because there is a very big market for Arabic content, and especially the MENA region. Everyone speaks Arabic, so it's a very big market. We also talked about Saudi film industry, that it is growing astronomically. The numbers are not even 100%, it's like 200, 300% growth. So all this shows that it's not just the legacy media. Soon we'll see Saudi PIF, hopefully and possibly, investing in these small media setups.
And not just that, on MBC specifically, I grew up watching MBC, like, MBC3, MBC Max, MBC Action. You know what? MBC Bollywood was my favorite.
Oh,
it
nice.
was too good. It was amazing. And I grew up on it, and I just noticed, like, over time, obviously, a lot of the people that host certain shows, they left the MBC. So just seeing the fact that MBC as a group, it's still doing amazing. It's still a hit. It's still a success. It makes me happy, Majid, because I feel reassured that this is something that I can take on to, like, my future. This is something that I can take on to my future children. Like, they can enjoy the same entertainment that I enjoyed once upon a time. But Majid, you said something that really interested me. You said that 10 years ago the media landscape was so different, and I know that
it started nearly 12 years ago in the industry.
Yeah, you told me that. So I want to know, like, what's the difference? Like, what's really the difference? Like, what are you seeing as someone who's lived this? Like, I find that insane. Like, you've lived through this decade. So what's the difference that you're really seeing?
The idea was, when I started my bachelor's, to be honest, not even in the Asian region like Pakistan, where I come from, even throughout the world, my father told me that if you're not going to become a doctor or this or that, you're good at speaking, you're good at writing, go towards media. So I was looking for programs where to go. I was literally hopeless, like, I don't think I know what to do. Randomly came up with this program at a university, journalism, production. I was like, okay, let's see where. I had zero idea about how media worked. I didn't even know how a newspaper worked, like how do you print a newspaper or anything. My father was a very avid reader of a newspaper, and he still is. So those people, like the 60s, 50s, 60s people, they have a habit of reading a newspaper. So I just grew up watching a newspaper come to my house. Rarely read it. I was more into books, never into news. But then when I was joining, I remember I joined my university around 2009, 2010. And at that point, even people were telling me media is dying. Newspapers will be dead soon. Why are you joining this? Why are this? So even at that point, the new media had started coming in. Facebook was there. I remember MySpace was there. Yahoo Groups used to be there. MIRC used to be there. I sound like a dinosaur to a lot of people, to be honest, because these names only my generation knows. I don't think you've heard of MIRC or Yahoo Groups, even MySpace. So these things were there, and at that point, even like 10, 12 years ago, people had started feeling the difference that news is moving towards a faster pace. That's the main difference. News is now like within seconds. You have websites. Just within seconds, everyone publishes the news and just puts a live ticker on it and says, this is a developing story, and we'll keep adding to it. We saw on election, everyone had a counter. Even the Middle Eastern publications, the national Al Jazeera, I was following them mostly for the election results. Everyone had a counter. Everyone knew live. Before, it was not that. With the advent of TV and radio, the news became faster, but it was not as fast as social media. And now the contribution of people into news, like everyone has an opinion on a news, on Twitter, on LinkedIn. So yeah, it's completely changed. It's like I told you, at 7 or 8 years old, I didn't have a phone. You did. Likewise,
I didn't, but continue.
Yeah. No. I mean, you saw a phone, right? I didn't even know a phone existed at that. We only had that circle one where if you like curled a zero, you'll have to wait 1 second for it to come back. So yeah, technology changed. With technology, media changed, and with media, everything is changing. How media is bought and sold now, that has changed. I'll give you a number. I've left my last office for like 2-3 years. Yeah, nearly 2-3 years now. so I can tell you those numbers. So I used to look at my Google Analytics every day because I was the desk head, so I had to see the numbers. And those numbers presented very age group wise, it was always between 25 and 34. So the newer generation was reading news online. They switched from newspaper. I remember the area I lived in, there was a whole big, what do you call it, a whole center where there were like 20 plus booksellers and newspaper stands. Everything disappeared. So the media has changed. That's simple. But the main thing that I see is it's becoming quicker and quicker. Within seconds, you need to put out the news, or other someone will.
I think what it is that the media will constantly change, but it will never be dead.
It will never be dead. Yeah.
Like for example, Majid, something my dad always likes to tell me is that in the old days, the way he said that every single day, his father would go and he would get them the latest newspaper and the latest stories. Like they'd sell these new edition stories every single day. They would, him and all of his 9 siblings, yes, 9 siblings, they would all read the newspaper every single day. And now I see with my dad, it's slightly, he watches Al Arabiya, Al Jazeera, but he's also on his phone a lot. He's also on Twitter a lot, Facebook. So we see that it does change, but it will never become dead. And I find
for Gen Z, I guess majority, even if you go and search Gen Z news sources, they'll say TikTok, they'll say Instagram, Facebook, all these sources. So they don't refer to Washington Post for something.
TikTok is such a good news source. I'll tell you why. I remember I was speaking to somebody in the company, and they were talking about how soon they're going to be traveling somewhere, and shout out to Holly, they're going somewhere soon, and I was like, listen, if you're searching for a job, check TikTok. And she was like, what? I remember I saw this video on TikTok, Majid, where this one girl was to anybody who's saying that TikTok, who makes fun of people who go on TikTok for news, just know that right now there's this restaurant and the restaurant has such a long line of people standing. But because I'm on TikTok, I know that this restaurant serves food that's old because one of their employees came on TikTok and said it. It's on TikTok, you find out this niche information nobody else would ever tell you. Does that it's almost scandalous. It's almost scandalous. Whenever I want to check anything out, I go do a deep dive on TikTok. Because I know I will find information that other news sources won't give me.
Most probably a first-person account, a person who is at the spot, who has experienced whatever you want to search about. So it's become very consumer-centric. Again, self-promotion here. Smashi business. We don't have a website. We have all the channels. We don't have a website. Why? Because they're becoming obsolete. No one wants to open a website and read something. They want everything in bite-sized, good, very well pointer-made news. So we run carousels on Instagram. We do videos. You do face-to-cameras. On LinkedIn, we post in the style of an article. On X, we post the title picture and text mostly. Threads is text-based. So for every social media, we've adopted our style, but we don't have a website. So why? Because it's becoming obsolete. No one goes to websites now. Obviously, people who are searching for some stuff, they may go
for specific stuff. Yes, I do.
But the amount of energy needed to create, or the amount of research, or the time needed to create a piece that Bloomberg does, a very deep dive into something. People don't have that kind of time. They don't have the luxury to read a 2,000-piece article on Bloomberg. Obviously, I will read it. Someone else will read it who is related to the industry. But it's become, to be honest, long form has become very niche. Only beforehand, to be honest, when I started, I loved 3,000-word articles on stuff, a very deep dive. But then I also started skimming through it. And now there is a point where I only see the important parts. And obviously, when you read news so much for 10 years, you learn how to read it quickly. That's also a skill that journalists have. They can read through a 5,000-word document within minutes. Why? Because they know where the important part is. They read the first sentence and understand the whole paragraph. So that skill, and the newer generation doesn't have that kind of time. They're like, give us the news in bite-sized, give us the most important part. We don't care about the adjectives and the very flowery language that you want to use. We just care about the information. Give us numbers. If you're giving us facts, give us numbers. If you're giving us entertainment, just give us the joke. Don't build up for half an hour and then tell us the joke. Tell the joke and then go on. So yeah, with the population changing, the dynamics of social media changing. Sorry for introducing Smashi business to you again in the concept. We have to change, and new media has changed. To be honest, you go to Instagram, you go to big portals, you'll see a lot of people now focusing only on social media in regards to news. They don't want to do news anywhere else because, again, bite-sized news. Give it to them quickly, in numbers, in everything, and just move on to the next story. Again, legacy media, Bloomberg's and all these things, they will stay, but they moved more towards feature-ish style. They don't want to report news now. They don't do stories. I guess Reuters, AFP will, obviously, and because they're newswire services. But the legacy media, the big media, New York Times, Washington Post, they have moved, what I've seen over the years, they've moved towards more scoops, one, and more feature-ish stories. They don't want to do news like fast news.
That's for sure. But
they will have like some new guys, 2-3 year experienced guys for fast news, just put it out. But for them, now the selling point is their deep dive research. But for fast news, social media is best.
I love that, by the way. The New York Times, I don't mind reading their long articles because they're so well written in the story in itself. It's so interesting that I don't mind like taking time to read them.
It's your job. It's your, I guess.
Not really. I mean, right before I would do that.
You're one of a kind. Not everyone.
I would do that.
Trust me, the newer generation with the videos and TikToks and 60-second clips and everything, the attention span has diminished. I'm not saying in a bad sense. It's just that they don't care about whatever is going around the story. They just care about the story. So, for example, if I would write, for example, if the MBC News, if I was writing it for a newspaper or anything, I'll go deep into MBC's past, future possibilities. I'll talk to people. With the newer generation, I've realized they just want, okay, what are the numbers? What's the profit? And they'll be like, I'll be like, yeah, 3 billion. They'll be like, okay, thank you very much. We'll move on. We don't want to go very deep into the context. Sometimes, obviously, journalism students, you and me, or business students.
I'm not a journalism student.
I know you're a business student. That is why I said journalism student, business student. They'll love the story. They'll want to know the details. But some people, they just need a little bit of context and the main story, and they'll be like, okay, next news, next news. So this has kind of changed, to be honest. It's my opinion, what I have seen after, like, again, starting from a newspaper and now into new media, doing journalism on new media. I've seen how it has changed. So let's see what the new world will give us. Most probably AI generated content. To be honest, what I see in the next 5 years in regards to AI, news, the quick news or the press release based news, or the news which doesn't have an angle or something, it's plain news like, oh, this happened, that happened. This will become more mechanical, and someone will come up with something where it will be done without the help of a human. And then the deep dives, humans will be there for it. So again, going back to like a comment on Friday or Thursday, reporting will stay. A lot of other things in the news media and the world will become automated.
But don't you, other than
reporting
the fact that
will stay.
Other than the fact that it becomes automated, just on your point of just things becoming shorter, isn't that a great thing? Like, I remember George Orwell, he said that if you could cut a word, if a word can be cut out, then cut it. Because the best of language, it's when it's simple, it's when it's short,
and that's
sweet and simple. That's the best kind of language that you can ever write. Flowery language does not necessarily mean that you're good at writing.
See, flowery language is good when you're writing a feature. I love a very well-written, well-structured, little verbose kind of art feature. I would love to read about some new place that's opening. I would love to feel it. Because flowery language, we call it flowery in a very negative sense, but whenever you're writing, the main idea is to not please your eyes only, it's to please all your senses. So just telling you how you went into a restaurant and how it smelled, you will actually feel like two or three, because again, senses are all illusions. It's you hear a sound, it's not sound, it's your eardrums and everything that happens in your ear sending a signal to your brain and your brain interpreting it. So 5 of your senses are all brain signals. They don't actually exist in material thing. Yeah, that's a long debate, but yeah, that's what I believe, that all your senses are signals that your brain creates. So when you're reading something, if someone can give you the flavor of the food in their words, you can actually feel the sushi that they're eating. If you can read and write. So that's the quality of a great writer. He'll try to at least appeal to 2 or 3 of your senses, not only your eyes. So they'll tell you the smell of the aroma of the place. They'll tell you what they were hearing. So in your mind, you can create a whole sense of the place. So that's good writing for me.
Yeah.
So I would love to read features or like opinions about stuff like this. But yeah, when it comes to news, you're perfectly right that they just want the news and move on quickly.
And secondly, for our next topic today, Sheikh Hamdan, the Crown Prince of Dubai, sees that strong visionary leadership is the cause of Dubai's 3.3% GDP growth in Q2. So essentially, in the second quarter of 2024, Dubai's economy saw a 3.3% annual growth, reaching $31.58 billion. And this can actually be attributed to non-oil sectors such as technology and tourism. Now, the reason why I find this very interesting is because very recently the SWF, they reported that Abu Dhabi is the richest city in the world. So we're now seeing that, you know, with the GDP of Dubai growing, we're seeing that it could possibly challenge Abu Dhabi soon.
Yeah, they will. Dubai never stays back, or they hate the second position, to be honest.
Second is the first to lose.
Yeah,
I always think that.
No, see, with Abu Dhabi and Dubai, the best thing is there is no competition, to be honest. What I see, Abu Dhabi is the capital. And it is the financial capital as well, because it has 4 of the biggest sovereign wealth funds in the UAE. So 4 biggest sovereign wealth funds all centered in one place, because it's the capital. It happens to a lot of countries. A lot of capital is stationed in the capital, actually. So that is why Abu Dhabi was being called the capital of capital. But what we saw is that Dubai is growing. Dubai is not growing in competition with Abu Dhabi. Dubai has a very different growth plan. Abu Dhabi has a very different growth plan. Abu Dhabi is less into, it's not that much into construction that Dubai is, but Abu Dhabi is very good in some other things. So they have different plans. For example, Abu Dhabi's marinas are, I love their marinas more than Dubai marinas, and there are more luxury yachts and there are more marinas in Abu Dhabi. So they have a whole sector there, which Dubai will never compete with them, because Dubai has a very different thing. So energy-wise, Abu Dhabi has more oil, Dubai has less oil. Abu Dhabi has a bigger forecast for oil production. So that is different. Dubai is different. You talk about tourism, Abu Dhabi has a very different plan for tourism. You know what is coming to Abu Dhabi, the second sphere in the world. So they have that kind of a plan. Dubai has a recurring season every year. Global Village comes every year, Dubai Safari Parks, whatever you say. Dubai has a recurring plan. They want to keep people loyal. They want repeat customers. Dubai has gone through the initial phase of creating a loyal pool of visitors, and now they believe in repeat customers. Abu Dhabi is still growing into a tourism hub. They don't have the things that Dubai has. So their plans are online towards, they are going towards same direction, but they're in different stages. Abu Dhabi will eventually grow into a tourism hub. It's still not the tourism hub of UAE. And with the Win Gaming Resort and Win Resort coming in Ras Al Khaimah, most probably a lot of people will move there. So,
and that's really good, because right now traffic is really bad.
And the World Trade Center, most probably, so the Dubai World Trade Center, which is privately owned, is also they also own the Dubai Exhibition Center in the Expo now. They bought it, so they might move. There is a chance they might move the central Dubai World Trade Center that we know and we go to. They might move it to Expo, and they've already established a plan to make the Dubai Exhibition Center in Expo 2020 bigger. So most probably the events will move the traffic will be diverted there because it's like the corner of Dubai. It's not like in the center. So see, it's very simple. A lot of things are happening between Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Sharjah, Ajman,
Yeah.
Al Quwain, Ras Al Khaimah. It's not they are competing with each other. Everyone is at some places Abu Dhabi is in front, some places Dubai is in front. So that's the good part about these Emirates. Everyone is on a very different
Yeah.
stage of the same race. Everyone wants
Yeah.
to become independent of oil. Everyone has a plan for property construction, everything.
And just to
Sharjah is one.
touch on, those plans, this actually overall it aligns with Dubai's D33 agenda. Essentially, what that agenda is, it's Dubai essentially seeks to double the city's economy by 2023 and achieve a GDP of 2.6 trillion dirhams.
So D33 is like the Saudi Vision 2030 for
Yeah.
Dubai. They have a target, Saudi Vision 2033. D33, which is Dubai Economic Agenda, they have a target to double their economy. Obviously, it's not just that they're building something here. They also want people to come and invest. So FDI-wise, it's also good. We always talk about Emirates separately, but I guess everyone has missed the point where the UAE launched the campaign Invest in the Emirates. You remember, if you've seen it, Idris Elba was the star of that ad that came. And under that, they're trying to bring money to all the Emirates as well. It's not just, invest in Abu Dhabi, invest in Dubai. They want everyone to invest in all the Emirates. So that's on the grand scale, country level, they have plans for economy, and on individual levels, they also have plans. So that's really great, to be honest. A lot of countries in the world, the developed countries that you see, they don't have these national agendas and Emirates or like city-wise agendas. Everyone has a national plan, everyone follows just one direction. Here, it's very nice, it's very productive. Emirates-wise, they have separate plans, they know where to invest, what to do, and country-wise, they together also have plans. So that's the great thing about UAE. They work together also, and they work individually as well.
But even more great than that, what's great about the UAE is its leadership. So Sheikh Hamdan, the Crown Prince of Dubai, actually attributed all of this to His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum's leadership. He basically said that he inspired a model for sustainable growth and a leading economic hub.
Yeah, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, the ruler of Dubai, basically the Prime Minister of UAE, him, our President of the UAE, His Highness Mohammed bin Zayed, he, all the other rulers of all the Emirates who they don't come into news a lot. His Highness Sheikh Qasimi of Sharjah, he's into news for a lot of literary ventures. He's doing something in regards to the translation of Quran in different languages. They just completed, I guess, one translation. So he's leading on that front. So every leader has a unique skill set, and they're using not for their own Emirates only. They're using it for the whole of UAE as well. The Ras Al Khaimah ruler, he is very forward into digital assets, to be honest. I remember I did a profile on him for some place, and he's very well educated. He studied from a Western University, Oxford or Stanford, I don't remember exactly, but he's very well spoken, and he has a very forward vision, not only for economy, but for the people as well. So I was reading his social endeavors, like what he has done for people, and has really inspired. So every Emirate ruler has a very nice story with them. And every Emirate ruler has a skill set which they're trying to help the UAE in. So yeah, every ruler is doing something, and the UAE ruler, I literally love him. The quotes that he has, the book he has. I haven't read the whole book. I'm in the middle of it, but whatever I've read, it shows you the maturity of a ruler, how good they are, and at the end of the day, I love how they treat everyone with so much respect. They're walking around in a mall. I've never seen that happen in Pakistan. If a prime minister or a president or anyone, even a small provincial minister is going, he has a whole motorcade of 20 vehicles in front of him and at the back. No one can go talk to them. Here, these rulers just roam around on the road, talk to people, talk to laborers. They don't feel bad. For them, they're all like kids, or they're all like brothers and sisters.
Very
That's
human.
a very nice thing that you don't see in the world, really. So leadership-wise, UAE has the greatest leadership, to be honest.
And finally, we're going to tell you guys about IPOs. Now, just very recently, Lulu had its IPO and it completely sold out. But never fear, we have another one for you. Very soon, Delivery Hero, the parent company of its subsidiary, Talabat, it's going to list Talabat as an IPO in Dubai in December.
Yeah. So there was news, I guess, 2 or 3 days back that they're going this week. Last week they said this week. So this week, but the company finally came out with a statement and they clarified that the IPO will be launched in December. So it's hardly like 3 or 4 weeks away. But soon we'll see the price ranges being announced, the bookkeeping process started. The good thing about the news that I saw, according to the statement by Delivery Hero, that they're going to give nearly $100 million in dividends by April 2025. So whoever buys these shares is going to get a sure shot. Again, it's never sure shot, anything can happen, but they are promising that the dividends will be at least 100 million. Other details are, everyone has talked about it. Everyone knows that they're trying to raise $1 billion from this IPO. They're floating 15% of the company's shares, and they want to keep, Delivery Hero wants to keep the majority share in its hold. They don't want to just sell it out. And Talabat's growth, we also did one story about how Talabat's evaluation is bigger than the parent company. So Delivery Hero is nearly 10 billion. I saw the number in euros. So
it's a smart investment on their part.
Yeah, and they bought it from a Kuwaiti person. So everyone, a lot of people, when I tell them that Talabat originated from Kuwait, they go, what?
Yeah.
So it seems like it started in UAE, not in Saudi, but everyone thinks Talabat originated from UAE. It actually originated from Kuwait.
And the Kuwaiti man who actually sold Talabat, what was his name again, Majid?
We did a Dreamers series on him.
He is actually now the owner of Flowered.
Yeah. They also sponsored one of sponsored a setup once. I completely forgot his name. Abdul Aziz Al Lughani. So yeah, he started Talabat. I remember some parts of the story that when he started it, a lot of people, his family even were like, "You're not going to do well. This is not going to work." But he stuck with it, and he was managing all his expenses around $1,000 a month. So he was trying to just go, like, he had this idea that it will work, and it eventually worked, and he sold it to Delivery Hero for a lot of millions, I remember. Delivery Hero buys Talabat. So yeah, really cool story of Talabat. If you didn't have the time, go watch our Dreamers episode on it. So they bought a majority share, whatever. It was nearly 100 million.
100
no,
million.
no. Sorry. This came as news. Let me find it. But yeah, again, Talabat is a success story coming out of here. They are a very big competition for Noon as well. So just talking about the competition they have in this region.
Careem, Deliveroo.
Yeah. So all these people trying to bring Talabat down. Talabat's still becoming bigger than their parent company. Nearly 12 to 15 billion dollar of evaluation is expected for them. So let's see. The banks are doing the work. You'll soon get a message. Oh, this is the price range. We're starting the bookkeeping process. The only thing that I saw, a lot of people like Lulu, you said 25% of the market share they floated. Then they increased it to 30% because they got interest from some other company as well. With 15% in the 15% of the company going public, I think it will be more beneficial for institutional investors. Individual investors will find it hard to get into this deal because usually when it's 20, 25, 30%, then they allow some shares only like 5% for individual investors. But if they're floating 15%, institutional investors will obviously take the majority of the share. Let's see. Hopefully, we'll tell you what's happening.
With that being said,
oh yeah,
thank you.
Sorry, we forgot completely. COP29 is starting today. The last
Oh, yeah.
COP28, Dubai hosted it. I just forgot. I completely.
It's in Azerbaijan.
Yeah, it's happening in Azerbaijan. So Baku, COP28 happened here in Dubai, Expo 2020, the Expo City, and it was great. Just to give you quick things, yeah, okay. So COP28 was the only COP in the history of COP which had 4 days. It wasn't a 3-day conference. Apart from that, COP28 was the first one where all the countries signed agreement, which has never happened in the history of COP. Just saying good things about Dubai to end the show. So the UAE consensus was signed there, and most probably in this COP29 we'll see the implementation plan for the UAE consensus, which was signed. All the countries, as far as I remember, signed that the developed countries will give nearly 80% of the budget, the global money pool that they're creating, and the rest of the 20% will come from here and there, private people and all those big corporations. And that money will be given to underdeveloped countries who face all these problems because of industrialization and all the things. So big countries are the biggest contributors to global warming, which gives rise to floods and all these things. So this is what is going to happen. COP29 will try to keep you updated. If there is anything money related,
we will keep you updated.
Yeah, we will keep you updated. So yeah, that's happening.
And with that being said, thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you're one of our 1.3 million viewers, we are so grateful for every single one of you. This is a Smashi business show, a part of Smashi production under the Augustus Media Podcast Network. See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.